An anchor does not hold because it is heavy. It holds because a fluke or a blade is buried in the seabed, and the load reaching it stays close to horizontal. Get either of those wrong and the best anchor money can buy will drag. In the next few minutes, the 4 anchor families, and which seabed each one suits, how to size one properly, what the road actually does scope, the snubber almost nobody fits, and how to set and check an anchor so you can sleep. Fluke anchors, the Danforth pattern, are flat, light, and superb in sand and soft mud. They stow flat, they're cheap for their holding power, and they are poor in weed, rock, and hard clay. Most boats carry one as a second anchor. Plough types, the Delta pattern among them, are single piece and self-launching. They set reasonably in most bottoms and are forgiving of a lazy technique, which is why so many production boats ship with one on the bow roller. Plough anchors, the Bruce pattern, set easily and reset well when the tide turns, but their holding power for a given weight is the lowest of the group. They are tolerant rather than strong. New generation scoop anchors, Rocna, Mantis, Spade, and their relatives, use a concave blade in a roll bar or weighted toe. They bury deeper and hold harder per kilogram than anything older, and they are the reason many cruisers sleep better than they used to. The seabed decides more than the brand does. Sand takes almost anything well. Soft mud rewards a large surface area, which is why flukes and big scoops do well and small ploughs do not. Weed is the classic failure. Anchors skate across it or come up wearing a green wig, having never touched the bottom at all. Sharp toes and heavy tips penetrate. Broad, flat flukes often do not. Rock and coral are a different game. You are hooking, not buried, and you should expect to retrieve with a trip line. And in a rocky anchorage, remember that what holds you tonight may be impossible to recover in the morning. Manufacturer tables are based on boat length, but length is a poor proxy for load. Windage matters more. A high-sided motor cruiser presents far more area than a low sloop of the same length. So use the table as a floor, not a target. Almost everyone who has dragged in a squall has come back and gone one size up, and the cost of that upgrade is small compared with the value of the boat swinging on it. The practical rule: size for the worst night you might sit through, not the average afternoon. Your ground tackle is the only thing standing between your hull and the rocks when the wind clocks round at 3 in the morning. The road is not just a rope to the anchor. Its weight is what keeps the pole horizontal. The curve of chain lying on the seabed, the catenary, absorbs surge and keeps the shank down where it belongs. All chain gives the best catenary and survives coral and rock that would saw through rope. It is heavy, and it needs a windlass on most boats, and it transmits shock loads brutally when it comes up tight. Rope with a chain leader is lighter, kinder on the bow, and stretches. Nylon 3-strand absorbs the snatch that chain passes straight to the cleat. Give it enough chain at the anchor end, 5 to 10 meters, to keep the pull low and to take the chafe. Scope is the ratio of road paid out to the depth, measured from the bow roller down, including the tide that will arrive while you sleep. 5 to 1 is a fair working minimum in settled conditions. 7 to 1 or more is what you want when it blows. Anchoring in 4 meters with 2 meters of tide to come and a bow 2 meters above the water means 8 meters of depth, not 4. At 5 to 1, that is 40 meters of rope, not 20. This is where most drags begin. The arithmetic, not the anchor. If the anchorage is crowded and you cannot lay enough scope, you have not found a spot. You have found a place to wait until something better opens up. On an all-chain road, every gust snatches the boat against a steel cable with no give in it. That shock travels into the windlass, the bow roller, and the deck, and it is what breaks things at anchor. A snubber is a length of nylon from a cleat to the chain, taking the load off the windlass and letting the rope stretch absorb each surge. On most boats, it is the cheapest upgrade in the entire ground tackle system and the one most often missing. One detail worth knowing: a swivel should not be shackled directly to the anchor. Side loads can break it. Put a shackle between the swivel and the anchor so the swivel is never loaded across its axis. Motor slowly to your spot into the wind, stop the boat and lower, do not throw. When the planned scope is out, stub it off and put the engine gently astern building to a firm load. Watch a point ashore, not the chain. If the transit holds still, the anchor is set. If you creep, you are dragging, and doing it again now is far cheaper than doing it at midnight. Then look around and think about swinging room, what the wind will do at 4 in the morning, and where you will end up when the tide turns. So the shopping list. A main anchor size 1 step above the table, a rod with enough chain to keep the pole horizontal, a proper shackle between the swivel and the anchor, and a snubber. A second anchor of a different type, usually a fluke, for the nights when the first one will not bite. Links to everything I have mentioned are in the description, including options at 3 price levels. Set it properly, give it scope, check your bearings, and enjoy the anchorage. Fair winds.